Hello. Hold on, I'm gonna pull my photos up. There we go. How's everybody doing? Good, I hope. Hi. Hi, 7 people. My hair is a little wild tonight, okay? Let's take this down. Hold on. It grew and it grew and it grew. Right off of my. Hold on now. Hold on now. Wait a minute. It'll have to do. It'll have to do. A state of disorder. All right. Hold on. I have not been down in my office for a minute. Everything seems to be in order. No one has broken in and cleaned up. Well, it's already clean. I look for Christmas. A have pine. A beside my angel. Charlie, how are you, baby? All right, so little. I have to see how it looks. We might just be hanging disco balls everywhere. Hey, Max, hey, Tilly, thank y'all for coming. I only run up and down like with my mother and her varying days of good and bad. I never I can't keep my computer down here. I have to be upstairs. In fact, my husband and my daughter are at a play right now. My son's up there. We're watching the God blessed Maple Leaves lose. Let me check the score. Oh, wait a minute. We're only down by 1. Yay. And I'm going to pull myself up on here so I can see the chat. And what not evil goes, what you doing, baby? What you doing? I am hopped up on the Red Bull new flavor, Fiji apple ginger. Would you stop right now? In fact, this whole broadcast is brought to you by Red Bull, Fiji apple ginger. It's new. It's out. I'm living for it right now. Y'all are very dark, so let me brighten y'all up. Rumor. Oh, Sally. Is this not as. Why is it not? What is going on? Am I going blind? I could very well be. I could very well be going blind right now. I don't know why everything looks so dull. Could be a sign of the show tonight. It might be dull. We ain't gonna talk about her in her goddamn shell. So if you're here for that, you might as well come on another night. I ain't talking about that little elf right now. No, I am not. Oh shit! Hold on. It's like I don't know. Did I have a stroke or something? I don't. It's like nothing looks right to me. Am I going back in the hospital? Hello, flies on the coleslaw. All right. So what we're gonna do tonight? I've done this case before. Spoiler alert. But I got new people. And this case is a stunner. It's like another case that I'm going to do December 23rd. This is literally 3 women. And look, this is from the first time I did it, right? Sloppy. I don't know how I let myself get away with that. And then I've redone it all because why not? Because why not? So I think the last time that I was live, it was with David Oman. So I haven't been live for a second. I think I canceled last week because what did I do? Well, again, let me just say that I get burnout. Believe it or not. And so I think it was this week. I was just gonna I canceled all the next 2 things. I was just burnt out. for a number of reasons. And then I will say this about Mr. Shell. He breathed the life back in me when he kept mentioning my name. And so, thank you, you little elf, for bringing me back to life, for making my hair look like I look like Farrah Fawcett's ugly fat sister. Anyway, Panda Bear, how you doing, girl? Hello, Virgo. Hello. I'm so glad y'all showed up. This case is really interesting. And the thing about this case is I can bring this to you. I could have brought this to you. Well, hell, fuck, I did 2 or 3 years ago. And it ain't changed. There is nothing. These women, there's nothing. I wish, and I'm going to try to play a little bit. Hey, Nancy, I'm going to try to play a little bit of an interview that actually Ron Goldman's sister, Kim, did with this woman named Kathy Bard. Kathy Bard is a reporter, freelance. That's what they call when you ain't got a job. Freelance. You know, if me and my husband got divorced, I'd be a freelance wife, you know, trophy wife. Hey, Annabelle, how you doing? So, but I want you to see, I can read you what the question was and her response, but you need to see the question being asked and the response that this nutsack, sorry if you're watching, Kathy Bard, but you're a nutsack. Please contact my lawyer, Clyde Suckfinger, Esquire, if you would like to sue me. I don't know what you would get. You would get some, oh, wait a minute. Tell you what you would get. You would get a bag of disco balls. Hey, Lisa. And maybe a roll or two of paper towels. I did get a lot of those at Sam's last week. Maybe a wax mount. I don't know. That's what you would get. It's a good luck. It's probably more than you got right now, but that's another thing altogether. Altogether. Don't you try to sex me up, Charlie, but keep doing it. Okay, y'all want to go? Let's go. Let's do this. Let's go. I have to get my phone. Hold on. I got to get my phone. I've got to keep an eye on the game. I've got to bring y'all up. Because if y'all don't know, I think everybody knows by now, but if I go over there and I start showing you the photographs, I can't see y'all anymore. Hey, Carrie, my sweet love, did you have your party yet? I can't see y'all. So I like to bring the phone in. You piece up. No, we're not going to manage. I see what we're doing wrong. We're doing something wrong. I like to bring you up so I can see the chat. So y'all, if I'm talking to you over here, it's because I'm looking at chat. So don't say Shannon's senile. She doesn't even know where the damn camera is. Next. Okay, Carrie. Hey, R&D. Hey, Eva. And Sandy. Hello. How is everyone? I'm so glad y'all came in here. R&D. The what is it called? Dramaween? Is that what it is? The winner, the male winner of the Dramaween. Hey, sweet potato. All right, we're gonna go. Now, if you're new here, here's what's going to happen. I've taken notes. I'm looking right into I have taken notes. I have taken a lot of notes. I have gotten my notes together. I have got my little paper clips and Post-its so that I know exactly what I'm doing. You will not see me look down at my notes because I am an idiot. So what's going to happen is I'm going to get some shit wrong and I'm going to leave some stuff out. I suggest that if you want a better, no, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm not kidding, but bear with me. Okay, so I'm going to bring the girls up and try to remember that these women have not been seen since June 7th, 1992. The girls graduated. It's a mother, her daughter, and her daughter's friend. The girls graduated on the 6th from Kickapoo High School. They did some party runs, you know how that happens. And all of the friends were planning to go to Branson, Missouri the next day. This is Springfield, Missouri. They were going to go to Branson the next day to a water park. Now, I don't know what the hell they was thinking because it was only 80 degrees. And I had been to that particular water park. And I don't know what the hell they were thinking, but, it is what it is. Anyway, we'll go through the timeline. We'll go through the suspects, possible sightings, any developments, which none. These women just basically poof. I also have some photographs from the home the morning that they were discovered missing. I've also got some Zillow photographs of what it looks like now. So, I can show you a picture of this and that, but if you can't, so we're going to look at some Zillow photographs of the home. So we can kind of gauge, what's going on there. And again, it's one of those, this is one that I do think about a lot. I have a Springfield, Missouri shirt that I ordered after I did this case the first time, because I thought I had been in my mind in Springfield, Missouri. I think it took me 2 weeks the first time. And, I got a shirt. My God, I even got one for the Fort Worth trio. That's the one I always do, December 23rd. That again, 3 girls went missing from a mall. No sign of them. No, not a sock, not nothing. The police, they went to a mall on the 23rd of December, and the police themselves cannot get them out of the mall, meaning they were not seen outside of that mall. They were seen inside, but not out. Poof, nothing. Bizarre, but we're going to go through it. Y'all ready? Let's go. I'm going to add this to the stage, and I'm going to make it large. Hold on, let me look at my little thing here. Oh, I am animated tonight. Oh, I'm animated tonight, aren't I? That's pretty big. That's pretty big, right? Y'all can see that pretty good? Looks all right to me. Oh, listen. You know what? Hey, Kyle, what are you doing, Kyle? So these are the women. We're going to go from right to left. So we have Stacy McCall, 18 years old. We have got Cheryl Levitt right here in the middle. She was 47. And her daughter, Susie, on the right, 19 years old. They had graduated and that night. So let's talk about Cheryl for a second. Cheryl was starting her life, hey, Peggy, her life over again for the 3rd time. She'd been married 1 time. She had 2 children, Bart and Stacy. No, Bart and Susie, sorry. Divorced that husband, married another man, moved to Springfield. They were from Washington, and they got divorced after a while. She had to pay off his debts. He effed off back to Washington and left her in Springfield, where they wanted to stay. But they came after her for his money that he owed. She was a cosmetologist. She had a pretty damn good, she had 250 regular customers. So she was doing very well. She paid off his stuff. She bought her a little house, which when you see the house, you're going to think, God, that's so small, but it's really not. It's kind of a big house. And, she had just bought, they'd only been in this house for like 2 months before this happened. Stacy here on the right was going to go to, I think, Southern Missouri College. Susie was going to follow in the footsteps of her mother and go into cosmetology. Vicki, and I think I just did that. Did I just 250? Thank you for being a member for 29 months. I appreciate that, Vicki. Hold on, let me move on. I feel like a newscaster when I do this. And tonight, let me see if I've missed anything. New attitudes, 250 clients. That's a lot. But she made good money. And they also had a little dog named Cinnamon. I have to mention that because that's going to come into play. You're not even going to believe it when I get there. They lived there 2 months. I think if we go to this next photograph, we're going to see them actually, there they are posing. I do not know why this photograph is black and white. Because it was 1992, okay? We had color, but whatever. But that is her in front of her home. Her and Susie. I'm going to get those two mixed up. Okay. So let's do this. Let me talk to you about Stacy I don't know what Stacy was going to take in school. I looked. Her mother is quite active. I hate to say that I don't like the mother of a victim, but I don't like this lady. So Susie was 19. Let me go back. She was held back in 2nd grade. And that is when she met Stacy and she met another friend that we're going to talk about in a minute. And they all, they were just childhood friends. All right, let me go back and see the Stacy. Hold on, I gotta let y'all know about these girls. All right, so Stacy, 18 at the time. That she worked as these girls worked and went to school. They were gonna go to a water park. It was like 30 minutes away. They had planned to go just drive that night after the parties. I'll show you a map. It's not that long. So let's go to the timeline. And I don't have any photographs for this because it's a timeline and I don't have any photographs for it. But it's a pretty good, we know where they were. All right. So let's start. So the graduation, June 6th, 1992, Kickapoo High School. That's just like the best name of a high school ever. So from 4 to 6 was the ceremony. Cheryl left the ceremony. All right. Everybody graduated, but what was going to happen was Susie and Stacy were supposed to stay at their friend Janelle's house that night. That was the plan. And then they were all going to go to Branson the next day. It didn't quite work out that way. Janelle had a lot of family there, right? And so they just couldn't stay. I remember this case because this is troubling. And every time I tell you about one of the suspects, you're going to go, oh, that's it. That's him. No. So the plan was they were going to stay at Janelle's and they were going to go the next day with their group of friends. Didn't work out. Then they were going to spend the night with a guy that lived down the street from Janelle where another party was. I mean, there was party going on. Yankees for life. That fell through. So Stacy called her mother from, I'm saying, Janelle's house probably, and said, look, Mom, we're not going to go to Branson tonight. Her mother says, oh, thank God. Yeah, don't go tonight. And she said, okay, I'll call you when we get in, so let her know. Didn't quite happen that way, but that's okay. So we have the party. The graduation. On the way home, Cheryl, the mom, picked up a pizza. That's what she wanted. That's what Susie wanted. And they went back home. They ate. Stacy went home, had their dinner, had the posing with all of the relatives, and then here we go with the party. So around 8:15 to 8:30. Let's go back. The parties. Okay, so here we go. 8:15 to 8:30. All the friends regroup from their families, right? And they go to Janelle Kirby's house in Battlefield, Missouri, only 9.6 miles from Springfield. Not a big trip. And they were going to hit the water park. I told you that. So yeah, and Janelle's house was literally 16 minutes from their house. 8:30, the girls attend a party at Brian Joy's house. That's when the girls try to rearrange their schedule because they were going to stay with Janelle and they couldn't. Brian said, "Yeah, y'all can stay here." And hey, Peachy. And that's when everything got rearranged. They all decided not to go. And blah blah blah. Okay. So and listen, Brian lived down the street from Janelle, so this was like a block party, graduate. I don't know about alcohol. It probably was there. I know mine was, but that's all. All right, so from 8:30 to 10 o'clock, they're just kind of party hopping up and down the street. 10:30, Stacy calls her mother to tell her that they're staying at Janelle's house. All right, so that we've switched it all up again that night. She promises to call her mother the next morning before they go to Branson. This is the last time that Janice McCall spoke to her daughter. That sinks into me. A little innocent phone call. "Mom, we're not going to Branson. We're going to stay at Janelle's house." Her mother is relieved, thinking, she talked to her in the morning. She didn't. So at 11:15, Cheryl is at home, the mom. She is at home. She is not planning on Stacy and Susie coming to their house. She thinks they're staying at Janelle's, or she thinks they're going on to Branson. So she is in her home. She is talking to somebody on, "Hey, Megs," on the phone. A friend of hers. She's redoing furniture. She liked to do that. Maybe this is why because I love to do that too. She was, doing a piece of furniture in the house. So we know that 11:15, Cheryl is still alive because her friend talked to her on the phone. Nothing was wrong. Everything was fine. Just, "Hello, how are you?" Blah, blah, blah. Okay. That was 11:15. That's the last time that Cheryl's heard from again. So we're going to go down the timeline. 11:30 to 1 a.m. The girls go to other parties. Then they go back to Springfield. All right. And then they go back, down there and hit another party in Battle Creek. These girls were not playing that night. Girl, go on. Now Janelle's house was unexpectedly full. Okay. And Brian, I told you before, said they could stay there. But then, hey, crybaby, then he changed his mind. He said, "I can't stay here, guys." So they're trying to figure out what to do. That brings us to 1:50 to 2 o'clock. Okay, this is let me, there's Cheryl. No, that's the second husband. But they had a beautiful home. They had a beautiful home. There's Stacy again. There she's with that hair. Look at that hair. I think I had that exact hair color. I really do. It's all gravy, baby. What you doing? Thank y'all for spending Saturday night with me for a little while. There's another one. There's Stacy. Very good. They would go. Oh, that's Austin Matthews' thigh. Sorry. That's Austin Matthews' thigh. He is not pertinent to this, but that thigh is giving me life. All right, this photograph, you're going to see this. If you look this case up, this photograph is the one, right? What you don't see is Janelle Kirby right here. Janelle Kirby to this, hey Genevieve, Brie Allen, hello, Brie. To this day, Janelle Kirby has got such guilt because she says, I wish I would have just said, y'all, come on, you can sleep on the floor. We'll grab some pillows. Has been at the forefront of any kind of search, anything like that. Austin style. And to this day, hey Cinnamon, loves these girls, still looks for these girls, still pray for these girls, because they were all pretty good buddies. So we're going to get to 2 to 15. This is when Janelle's house is full. Oh, thank you, Morse, for being a member for 12 months. And hey to you. Hey to you. Thank you. All right. So Stacy and Susie said, come on, Stacy, follow me. We'll go to my house. Stacy says, okay. They say goodbye to everybody. Call you in the morning. Okay, we're going to call y'all in the morning. We're all going to go. Oh, it's going to be so much fun. Even though it's going to be 80 degrees, they can freeze their ass off, but whatever. So at 2:15 a.m., they leave Janelle's house. And I told y'all that was about a 10-minute, maybe 15-minute drive. So that would put them at Susie's house and Cheryl there at between 2:30 and 3. We know that the girls made it there. And how do we know? William Nylander, get the hell out. I'm going to show you back over here. I don't know why this is over here. This picture is over here in the middle of nowhere, but I'll show it back. Hold on. The cars. Okay, so this is Susie's car, and that is Stacy's car. They made it to Cheryl's house, to Cheryl and Susie's house. This we know. I'm sorry. I don't know why that was all the way over there by itself. William Nylander, would you get up? God. This is the route they would take. As you can, it's a very short route. It's only about 30 minutes. It's not that long at all. So that's where they were going to go. Crybaby, thank you for gifting 5 memberships. If you get one of those memberships, oh shit. This is another thing. This is the parties that they went to. Just, a little outline. They weren't in a very large, area. It was pretty compact. So we know that they get to the house. Let me go back over here. Here they are, the cars. All right. So between 2:30 and 3 a.m. We know they arrived because the cars, but they had also been in the house. They had washed off their makeup. Okay. They had, Susie had grabbed a Coke that was still cold when everybody got there the next morning. They had Stacy had her clothes folded up, her jewelry that are inside of a pocket. So we know that they made it there. We know they made it into Susie's room. We know that we know Stacy, by what she had with her, was only in a t-shirt and underwear. Again, we have Cheryl's car over here on the left, and the other 2 cars. So we're going to get, Okay, so this is the next morning. Let's get there. And I'm going to show you a picture of their purses in a second. So the next morning, Janelle keeps trying to call. Susie's house. Nobody's answering the phone. No, nothing. Now, I don't know if, and now I'm just thinking about this. I don't know if the machine was picking up, because that's going to come in a minute too. I don't know if the machine was picking up their answering machine, but it very well could have. And they aren't there. She started calling them at 7:30. She kept calling. A bunch of friends kept calling. between 8:30 and 9 a.m. that morning is when Janelle and her boyfriend go to Susie's house. And they say, oh, well, hell, Bill, here's their cars. They're here. And they go and they knock on the door, knock on the door, knock on the door. Nobody answers the door. They notice that the light that's right beside this door, you'll get a shot of it in a second. This is Cheryl's bed. So we know Cheryl was in the bed. There was a book that was laying on her bed along with her glasses. So we know she was in the bed. Now, did she get up when Stacy and Susie, showed up? Probably so. They probably did and checked on them. So we know, I mean, you look at this, there's no sign of a struggle. I mean, it's pretty, So everybody started going to Susie's house. The lampshade on the front porch was broken. Not the bulb. Not, hey, Colleen, how you love? The bulb wasn't broken. The globe was broken. So Janelle's boyfriend, I think his name was David, she ended up marrying him. They're still married to this day. He swept up because it was on the front porch. He swept that up so they wouldn't have to, you step in it or whatever. This is when James Phillips and Timmy were arrested for killing. The green van. The green fucking van. Yeah, we're going to talk about the green van. So we had look, 1992, we didn't have any cell phones. There was no digital footprint. We had no Facebook. We had, there was, so let's remind ourselves of that. No cell phone, no digital footprint, nothing. They didn't even have automatic fingerprint scans in 92 in Springfield, Missouri. Figure that one out. So everybody starts coming. They're in the house. The dog, Cinnamon, is running around and upset. The girls are nowhere. There is no disturbance in the house. Nothing's knocked over. Nothing is broken. Nothing. It's like they got up and walked out the door and just left. But more people started to come. And more people started to come. So now Janelle says that she did, the phone rang. She picked it up and it was like a heavy breather, and a little dirty talk. And she was like, she hung up. And then they called back and did it again. She just hung the phone up. I guess I would too. Pretty sexually explicit phone calls. At 10:30, Janice McCall, let's go back and look at her right up in the middle of the damn. Hold on, there she go. So this is the police. Her daughter is not there. She's pissed because her daughter didn't tell her that she was going to Susie's house, but I'm, calm your ass. It's going to get a lot worse. So she shows up. She goes into the house with everybody else that's there. So when you walk into a crime scene, you bring stuff in. When you walk out of a crime scene, you bring stuff out. So that crime scene was destroyed. But there was a call on the answer machine. For some reason, Janice McCall decided to listen to that answering machine message, and she accidentally erased it. Plus, she was going all through their house. Again, I mean, I get it. Your daughter is not there. Her car is there. I mean, I understand the panic. You don't go through somebody's house and get on their damn phone and get this shit, whatever. So again, from at least 1 in the afternoon to about 6, we had more people there. The cops showed up. The cops looked around. They said, we can write it. I guess we can write it up as them being missing, but it's only been So what they ended up doing was making everybody, Cinnamon was very upset. Janelle said that when they got there, Cinnamon was like running around and, kind of agitated. So they end up getting everybody out. And then they put a little note, a little card in the front door that said, hey, if you come home, can y'all give us a call so we can mark you as, not missing? Needless to say, that call never came. So, all right. 2:50 a.m. on June 8th. So this is the next day, okay? That is when the police filed the missing person proper. They properly filed it. The FBI was there 2 days later. So, I mean, the FBI was there, so to be the 10th, they showed up. And I'm thinking, why is the FBI there 2 days later? I mean, I understand it's a missing, it's bad, but what if the FBI? You can't get them to do shit. But whatever. They were there the next day. So we know, because the paper was also in the driveway, and the paper said, the guy said, oh yeah, I lived at 4 a.m. So we know that between 2:30 to 3 to 8 in the morning, I'll say that because that's when Janelle and them showed up. Between 2:30, let's say 3 o'clock in the morning to 8 o'clock in the morning is when they disappeared. That we know. That's 5 hours, before anybody gets them or knows that they're missing. Oh, honey is right. Here's Cheryl's bed. All right. And this is Stacy's bedroom. Stacy has the bedroom of a 19-year-old girl. She just got a waterbed for her graduation gift. The room was a wreck, but girl, I have raised girls, and at 18, girls are either pristine and, or they're Susie. Susie is my daughter's. There she is. That's it. That's my daughter's. Okay, now this I'm going to blow up because this is important. This is their pocketbooks that are on the steps. I'm going to show you in relation to Susie's room where these pocketbooks were. Now let's look for Susie and Cheryl smoked. They said Cheryl would light up a cigarette the minute she woke up in the morning and smoked all day long, and Susie was right there in her path. If you look down right here, you see the white pocketbook, and then you see the wallet that is out, which I don't know why that would be out, but you see a cigarette case. So there's the girls' pocketbooks, even Cheryl's. Cheryl had about $900 in cash in her pocketbook that was not disturbed. It was a deposit that she was going to make. Their cigarettes were there. Yeah, you look at the wallets that are out. I don't understand why the wallets are out, but nothing from this home was missing. Nothing was missing. All of their money was there. Stacy's jewelry was there. This, and again, I'm going to show you. Yeah, no money was missing. And this is $900 in 1992. Ain't too much. How you doing? So, I mean, $900 is a lot now, but in 92, it would have been, probably $1,500, maybe. I don't know. I shouldn't maybe do that, but that's mine. So this is where, and I'm going to show you when we go through this house. All right. So here's the light. The globe for that light is broken. The bulb worked. It wasn't unscrewed or anything like that. That is the only disturbance, is the globe for that light was broken. Now, Brian, Janelle's boyfriend, swept it up, put it in the trash. So I don't, the police, I don't know if they could have gotten a fingerprint off of it, but it was too late by then. Now this is the house. So this house is a lot bigger than it looks from that little picture of them just buying it. This is this house is kind of big. And here, so we got the cars. This is like crime scene, crime scene stuff. All right, so let's just do this. So this is the house off Zillow. So that's the front door, as you see right there by the brown chair over there. That's the front door, okay? The bathroom is this door right here behind the sofa. That's the one bathroom that they had. Another shot of it, just another shot. That's into that bathroom, the one bathroom. This would be Cheryl's room. Cheryl's room would have been on the front. If I'm looking at the house, her room was on the right. Nope. The left. Sorry. Left and right's hard. On the left, you see those two windows. So this would have been her bedroom. Now, one thing that was in this house, hey, Ted Thompson, the blind, hey, Mama T, the blinds in her room had kind of been pulled like somebody was looking out. Now, if she is there, and somebody's two cars are pulling in her driveway at 2:30 or 3 in the morning, I'm going to get up and look out too. So I'm not going to put a whole lot into that. I don't think the police put a whole lot into that because that's what you would do if you're at home alone. Again, let's go back. Cheryl was supposed to be alone that night. Okay. Stacy and Susie were supposed to spend the night. Well, they were supposed to go to Branson, and then they changed where they were going to stay with Janelle. That didn't work out, so they came home. So, do we think that the person was going after Cheryl? And if they were, why would you take two teenage girls with you? Take them out of the house. Anyway, I don't know. This is the second bedroom that was Susie. This was not Susie's room. Okay. This was Susie's room. And this is like a finished garage, I guess, maybe. And when I flip this around, you are going to see those steps. Do you see those steps right there beside in that doorway that we've got now about three doors that you could come in. Now we've got one in the kitchen right there and then the front door. So now we have 3 possible entry points. But those steps right there are right where those pocketbooks were. Again, here's the back that shows one way to get into the house, another way to get in the house, and then we have the front door. I don't know why I took a picture of the kitchen. Maybe because of the door. I don't know why I kept that picture. Okay, so let's start. Let's start with this. We're going to go to possible sightings now. So the girls have not come home. And I call them girls. Sometimes I call them women. They had not come home. But we have possible sightings. Now, some of these might lead off to something, and some of them make absolutely no sense. Some of these were phoned in weeks and weeks and weeks later. So within one day, 20,000 posters went out within one day. They were yellow. I'm going to show you what they look like now. There's one business in Springfield who has never taken the poster out of the door, out of their window. And it's a sad, sad sight. But 20,000 posters went out. They were in store windows. They were on poles. Everybody was putting them up. So a few days, more than that. A few days after the disappearance, a witness reported seeing a woman matching Susie's description driving an older moss green Dodge van. And this would have been later in the day on the 7th. This is the van that the police actually got a van that was the same, painted it the same color as the moss green, and they was parked outside of the Streeter had a new waterbed. Yeah, that just been delivered. So it was the possibilities here are endless, actually, of what could happen. I don't. So that was one. One that witness said that Susie was driving it and she could hear somebody say, "Don't be stupid," whatever, and that she took off. Another man said that he was in the parking lot of a grocery store, and he saw somebody, a younger girl, in a van like this, and she looked very upset, and he thought it was so odd that he wrote the license plate down. But he didn't really hear about this until, I don't know how you could have missed it with 20,000 posters going up. But by the time he called the police, he had thrown away the piece of paper that the license plate was on. They ended up hypnotizing him, but the only thing he could remember was the first 3 letters. He couldn't remember anything after that. I would think that would be enough, but I might be wrong. So a lot of witnesses saw this van, not necessarily with the girls, but they saw this van in the area the days before the disappearance. Okay. So we have Stacy in the van. No, I'm sorry. I know I'm going to get them confused. Susie, they say, matching her description in the van, upset. So you can only imagine that, I guess, Cheryl and Stacy would have been in the back. This goes to this too. How many people were involved? How are you going to get 3 women, 2 of them, which are teenagers, and and one mama bear? I am absolutely sure that Cheryl was a mama bear. Out of a house into a van that you're still riding around in the next day. All right. Other witness, I told you, saw the ground, saw this. Okay. And honey's right. We have another thing. We have got a let me get to it. There was a transient. This is the yellow. Oh shit, sorry. This is the yellow. All of these things are on this yellow paper. Brilliant, I guess, if you want to, they still stand out. But this is what was in the every single poll, every single store window. This is a artist rendering of a transient man that people saw in the neighborhood, again, the days leading up to the disappearance. And you can see up there, America's Most Wanted. They covered this in July of 1992, so fairly quickly. But this was the guy that neighbors said they saw. Cheryl's house was very near. She had a lot of businesses near her house, different businesses. So it was in an odd, it kind of in a weird neighborhood. I say that just because of the businesses that are around. Now, my thing is the transient. How are you going to transport 3 women if you are a transient and you have no vehicle? You have nowhere to go. You've got nowhere to, you're living on the street. Where are you going to take 3 women? So, y'all, I'll poo-poo it. I'm brainstorming the movie The Craft created a LARP cult. Yeah, I mean, this is good. This shit keeps me up at night. I swear to, and I'm not even kidding you. When the first time that I even covered this story, it's frightening. Yeah, I mean, look, It could have been Geraldo Rivera. Could have been. Very much so. Could have been. So, okay, so this is George, and this is George's restaurant here. This was one of Cheryl and Susie's favorite places to go. So about 2 or 3 weeks after the disappearance, a waitress from there said that she saw Stacy, Cheryl, and Susie come into that restaurant around 2:30 in the morning. They ordered, they all ate. She said that Susie looked either drunk or upset or both, and that Cheryl was trying to calm her down, and that they all left together. Only problem with that is that at 2:30 they were still with Janelle in Battle Creek, or so that, and again it came in 2 or 3 weeks later, so it couldn't have happened. It just couldn't have happened. I'm sure the woman, it's a shame. It's a shame. I don't know why she waited that long to do that, but she did. So that was on the 24th. The waitress came forth on the 24th of June. So that's a long time. And again, the timeline does not add up. And the fact that she said Stacy was, Susie seemed drunk and upset. But Susie had a stomach ache all night. Everywhere she went, she talked about her stomach ache. So would they have even gone to a restaurant if Susie had a stomach ache? I don't know. Could have been, could not. Now, other people have said, and this was later too, that they saw Stacy and Susie at a convenience store near Cheryl's house. That they came in, they bought something, they left. The guy was like, I didn't really pay attention. And then another convenience store, it might have been the same one, said that a little while later, Cheryl came in and said, have you seen, 2 blonde girls? And he was like, yeah. Everybody that knows Cheryl said, she ain't doing that. She ain't doing that. So you can't really help, was it them? No, they were with Janelle. They were not in Springfield. They were right outside of Springfield, but they weren't in Springfield. So they couldn't have been seen. They weren't there. And Janelle is a really good witness to this because obviously she was there. Yeah, something was going on with her. I don't know what it was. So when they did the America's Most Wanted, they got a phone call. And the information they said was very relevant. And that when they told the person, the man, that they were going to transfer him to the police department in Springfield, he hung up or said he would call back. He said he would call back. And he never did. But the information that he gave them was pertinent. Can't let you. It's hard to see. Yeah, I think these people really wanted to see, them and help. They traced that call back, and it ended up being someone from Louisiana, a store in Louisiana. So as far as sightings, y'all, I mean, that's it. Not a lot of them, or there were some that just didn't make any sense at all. What is this right here? Oh, it's my notes. Yeah, so we know from at least 2:30 to, like I said, 8, this could have happened. It happened cleanly. It happened, nothing got broken. And this is, okay, yeah, this is so they're 1717 East Delmar Street. And this is to the George's, the restaurant. It would literally be 2 minutes, a 2-minute thing. So, yeah, if they got there, maybe if they got there at 2:30 to 3, maybe the waitress was off, off a little bit. Maybe her time was off. It was literally only a 2-minute drive or 2-minute, drive. Here they are on America's Most Wanted. Okay, now you heard me mention her Cheryl's son, Stacy's brother, Bart. This is Bart. Okay, so we're going into suspects now. Now, Bart was estranged from his mother and his sister because he had an alcohol and drug problem. Now, Stacy, not Stacy, I'm sorry, Susie had actually, her and Cheryl had some arguments. You know how that is, right? When they think they grown, but they not grown. So Susie went to live with Bart for like a month. And she came back home. It did not work out. He was a Hey Skulls playlist. He was an alcoholic and a drug user. She went back home. Then they had another fight, and Susie went to live with her boyfriend for about a month. We'll get into that in a minute. So because they were estranged and Bart was not at the graduation and they hadn't spoken, he became a suspect. They were estranged. He was, which would have maybe it would have been made more sense if the money had been gone or anything from that house had been taken, but it hadn't been. I mean, his alibi was he was at home, passed out, drunk. I've heard better alibis, but they actually did give him a lie detector test and he passed it. But a little later on in the 2000s, Bart was drinking again heavily and he lived in Las Vegas. And Bart started to do some really weird shit. There was a nail salon in a strip mall. There was a 15-year-old girl inside the nail salon. Her, I think, mother or grandmother was also in the nail salon. A drunk Bart went into the nail salon, grabbed the 15-year-old by the wrist, and said that he was her grandfather. And she was like, I don't know you, and was pulling. He's like, no, I'm taking you home. I'm your grandfather. They got him outside. They locked the door. He was arrested for that. And let me read these charges because there's a lot of them. Hold on. It was attempted kidnapping, public intoxication, disorderly conduct, attempted false imprisonment. Now, Bart actually did this twice. He did it in Las Vegas, and he tried it again. I can't remember where. Doesn't matter. But that put him back on the map. That put him back on the suspect list for the police because that's odd behavior. Okay, obviously odd behavior. To go in and get a 15-year-old. But again, Bart is no longer a suspect. So I guess that's a good or a bad thing. Let's go to some of Susie's. Susie, my girl Susie did not have the best judge of character. And most 19. Hey, Susie, I'm not my Susie Sizzler. Yeah, Susie did not have the best judge of character, and in 1819, you never do. She had picked some boyfriends that were violent. They actually mutual combat was, they would get into fights that hurt. She had two of them, not at the same time, and it was just very bad. So one of the suspects is, and they say that she took a turn towards the dark side, and you're gonna hear about that because it gets a little gross. This right here, but so one of her boyfriends was Mike Kovacs. I don't have a photograph of him because
I found one photograph of somebody that had said Mike Kovacs, but I couldn't find another one. So I didn't want to put the first one up and say that was him if I didn't know that was him, and I didn't know that was him. So I don't have a photograph of him. Uh, William Nylander, get the fucking hell out of here. All right, that's enough. Let's go. Let's look at William. Let's just look at him for a minute. He is not a suspect. He's just beautiful. Okay. Um, so Bar, okay, so the boyfriend, they were together like 2 years until September 2000 and no, September 1991. I am fucking this up good. But they broke up. During their relationship, both Mike and Susie were abusive to each other, with Kovacs admitting that he and Susie would hit each other quite a bit. Susie had sought a restraining order against Mike Kovacs about 7 months before the disappearance, October 23rd, 1991. Why? Because he would come and slash her tires at work. He would slash, he was, just stalking her basically. Let me see. Yeah, he's slashing the tires. Yeah, harassing, phone calls, work, home, everything like that. So she was actually granted a 10-day restraining order. After that 10 days, she was supposed to go, hey, Sally, she was supposed to go back to court and she didn't go. So the restraining order expired. Police told reporters Kovacs was one of the first people they interviewed and did a background check on. And they also stated that they had 4 or 5 other people that they were looking at closely. Some had unsubstantiated alibis. We're going to see a couple of those now. Let's move on. So Mike was a suspect. Is he still a suspect? Nah. They ain't got no suspects no more. So I told y'all Susie took a dark side, all right, took a turn. So Kovacs wasn't the only ex-boyfriend of hers. Dustin Recla, Recla, found himself in the crosshairs of this investigation. What happened was, he was 20 years old. He and some of his friends broke into a mausoleum. Yep, they sure did. And he had 2 friends with him, Joseph Rodell and Michael Clay. They broke into into the mausoleum. They took gold teeth out of a skull, and they took the other skulls with them. Hey, Victoria. Yeah, exactly. None of this makes sense. So if I hope y'all are not thinking Shannon's gonna tie this up at the end and make it all make sense. I am not. This makes no sense. So they took the teeth to a pawn shop and got about $30 for them. Well, they got caught. And there was a lot to that. Apparently, they might have used Cheryl's car to transport this stuff. I don't know. So with those 3, now Susie was going to testify against him. She'd already talked, to all the police. She was set to testify. So the police said, well, obviously these 3 guys didn't want her to testify. Cheryl as well, because it was her car that they used to do this. 2 of the boys took off, one to California, one's fucked off somewhere else. So yeah. Now, the odd part of this is that the crime of stealing heads and gold teeth out of mausoleums, not a big deal in Springfield, Missouri. They didn't, not a big deal. So the investigators theorized this might have provided a motive for these boys to get Cheryl, at least at least Susie, but perhaps Cheryl too. Again, if we think about this, okay, so let's think about this. Let's run this down. If it was one boy, two boy, three boys, and they wanted Cheryl and Susie because they could put them in jail, which they didn't go to jail, and you go to get them, right? One, Susie's not even supposed to be there. Okay, only Cheryl would have been there, but obviously they were there. So why do you when you go in and see the situation has changed and you've got an extra person, again, without turning anything over, without any physical evidence in the house, that three young men were going to take three women out of a house and there not be, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Eventually, all the boys came back in. They did their time. They didn't even get any time. They had like 3 years probation, shit like that. So these three boys, boom, they're no longer suspects. Okay. Now, let me go from Mr. Leland. Take another look at Mr. William Leland right there because we're moving on to another subject. Okay, this would be. Hold on. Garrison. Mr. Garrison. Well, let's do this. Well, let's talk about Garrison. No, let's not. We'll go back to him. This is Larry Hall. Larry Hall, right there. Now, if you look at Larry Hall, you see him. He has a twin brother, and Larry Hall is a serial killer. His brother, not so much, even though he did say that his brother tried to help him. Now, Larry Hall and his brother went to Civil War reenactments. There he is. They were having a Civil War reenactment about 30 miles away from 1717 East Delmar Street. He and his brother were there. If we go back, oh, honey is right. We'll go forward. So he is a serial killer. Let me read you on him. He's a suspected serial killer. He's in jail right now. He went around the Midwest reenacting Civil War and is believed to have abducted, raped, tortured dozens of girls and women. There was a reenactment at Wilson Creek National Battlefield, and it was located just 5 minutes from Janelle Kirby's house. Okay. And if y'all remember, that's where the girls were before they left to come to Susie's house. So about 5 miles away from Janelle's house. All right. There were 2 reenactments that morning. He was there for that. Okay. Now, Larry Hall is not very smart. He has the twin brother. When they were born, the twin brother had been feeding, or I forgot what it's called. Larry was underweight, all that because the other twin was getting all of the nourishment. Okay. He also had the IQ of about 85. So not a smart man, but I don't think you have to be smart to kill people. So they sent an FBI operative into the prison where he is currently, and they tried to get him to talk about this case. He did admit specific details of many of his crimes and the murders, graphic details to the operative, revealing only things that the killer would have known. And I say killer because that's what they called him. Obviously, these girls are not alive. Hall also had a map of victims and where they could be found. And this is his other victims. I think, let me say, the police say it's anywhere from 39 to 50 victims he's had. He would just go in and get them. And so, again, let's think about this. If he's 5 minutes away from Janelle's house at a reenactment, Okay. And he sees one of the girls. He sees one or both of them. And they jump into two separate cars. Does he then follow them home? I mean, that night, I don't know if people, again, the information on this is so hard to find. Uh, his brother's probably going to back him up. Did they spend the night? And was he gone any of this time? During this period, don't know. But he's got the IQ of 85. So if he had left that camp and he had seen those girls, and they also had a van. Let me tell you this: they had a van. Guess what color it was? Guess what color it was? Moss green. Yep, they sure did. So would he have been capable enough of going and following those girls 10, 15 minutes back to Susie's house, figure out how to get in the house, got them out of the house alone or with his brother? Did anyone check the crypts? I don't know, Genevieve, because I know that the mausoleum is the only thing that the boys supposedly got. Hey, Susan, Georgia Peach. I don't think that there's a square inch of Springfield, Missouri that has not been searched. I don't think that there is a square inch of anything around Springfield, Missouri that has not been searched. There have been a lot of searches. There have been tips that have sent investigators off to farms because they had clues. They still get about, they said 100 tips a week. Now, we'll get back. All right, so would he have been able to go in there, get two girls and one older woman who was probably a mama bear from hell, get them out, get them in the van in a town that he didn't really know? But that would explain why he had Susie driving. Again, every time I read y'all one of these suspects, there's going to be something that you're going to go, oh, there you are. So this guy was very close. He had a van just like that. Had to be him. Could have been him. He drew a map to the other guy of where all the bodies were. Even though the FBI do think, it was from 39 to 50 women. But he never mentioned these three. And what has he got to lose? He's in jail. He's never going to get out. So is it Larry Hall and his brother? Again, no. So the Streeter family, this would be Susie and Cheryl's family. They have a website. I don't know if it's still up. I forgot to look. Now we're going to look at Gerald. All right, this is Gerald. Gerald Carnahan. All right. Oh, here's okay, now if we look at this is another, why am I doing that? This is another artist rendering of the transient person they saw. Does it match Larry Hall? There are similarities. So if you look down here on his little plaque, this was him 11/16/94. So this is what he looked like 2 years later. We don't know what he looked like then. What? No. So again, he looks like the sketch. I'll give you that. He drove a van that was about the same color, and he murdered about 50 people. So this guy looks really good on paper, does he not? I mean, you think this is it? This is him. Yeah, not so much. So we have Gerald Garrison. Now, Gerald, this is the Streeter family, and this is who they think is the guy. Nope, not him either. Oh, come on, God bless America. Here we go. I'm going to find him. Going the wrong way. I'm going the wrong way, people. Close your eyes. Not date open them. Bless America. Go. Why is it not going? All right. This is Garrison. This is Gerald Garrison. I mean Stephen Eugene Garrison. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. There was a guy, Gerald Callahan. He was convicted of first-degree murder. He had a farm out somewhere near around Springfield. They got a tip to go search over there. They dug up all this shit. They found possible blood when they took it, and this would be a year later. This was like a year or so later. It was inconclusive whether it was human blood, animal blood. They found, they have found pieces of moss green paint in some places, and that they've been told to go dig. They've dug a lot. But Mr. Garrison here, he got arrested. He said, you know what, guys? I have some information about the Springfield 3. And they were like, do tell. He said he was at a party and a friend of his confessed to kidnapping the women. All right. He also told them where the guy said they were. They got search warrants for that area. Now, Mr. Garrison is still in jail for rape, so he wasn't a great guy. And this is absolutely him. That's why his picture's up there. Now, this would have been about 12 miles out from Springfield, Missouri, where he said this happened, the friend said. Here's what's interesting about this. Now, this guy, they went out there with a search warrant. And yes, please, Mitten Mama, how are you? I just want to interrupt with a commercial. I do a lot of work on these things. If you enjoy them at all, feel free to drop a sticker, a super chat, what is that other thing? Like a Cash App. I'm not begging. I'm just saying. End of commercial. So they go out there, right? And I mean, this guy, he's giving them detail. He is giving them details of what happened. Well, a judge slapped a gag order on the search warrant, what they found, if anything. And that gag order is still in place in 2025. This happened, which I think it was 1994, 93, 94. There's still a gag order on this, on what they found. Thank you, Panda. I appreciate you. Why do they still have a gag order on this? Why does they still have a gag order? There have been lawyers that have gone up there and tried to get this gag order lifted. It has not been lifted. So, what does that mean? I don't know. Obviously, they found something. I don't know what, that they found something. Something was out there. And they don't want nobody to talk about it. Why? And Amber, hello, Mike Stevens. There should be fingerprints. They should have been Mike, but because they had been handled by Mike, which would be Janelle's boyfriend, he had handled, he'd swept them up. He, picked up the bigger pieces and he threw them in the trash. I think they tried to they went into this house, okay, with like, it's not luminol, but they did go with luminol, and found nothing. That's not, out of the ordinary. They went in with this method of lifting prints off things. And because of all the people that were in that house, all the fingerprints, they got thousands of prints, not thousands of sets of prints, thousands of prints, from every finger, palm, whatever. And they have never obviously been able to match them up because you've got all these. It's not a clear print. It's, something would, always happen. So they don't have any fingerprints that are not accounted for in that house, which is another what? This gag order has been in place for 33 years. And each judge refuses to lift it. 33 years later, Mr. Garrison is serving 40 years in prison for sexual assault, really horrible sexual assault, and terrorizing a Springfield college student in the summer of 1993. Thank you, Mama D, for the $5. I appreciate you. So we got one more, though. Y'all think I'm done? You know I ain't done. Hold on, I did. All right, this moron right here. This is Robert Craig Cox. Yeah, this one's good. Now, Mr. Cox went to Florida. Let's see. Let me think of when. With his parents. Oh, fuck. I knew I was going to forget this. I think it was 1990. And there was a girl that worked at, I guess, Disneyland. And that's where they had been. And the girl left her job at 10 o'clock to go home. She was found the next day stuffed in a sewer pipe, assaulted, murdered, tortured. They arrested Mr. Cox here, and a jury convicted Mr. Cox of the murder of this girl. Well, they took it to the appeals court, and a higher court said that they did not have enough evidence to convict him. So they let him go. He then went to Texas, where he attempted to rob two different women. One was a 12-year-old girl. He had a gun. And then he tried to get into another woman's home. This is the same incident. He was arrested again. Now, the parents of the girl that he murdered, and I'm sorry he murdered her, in Florida, kept tabs on where he was. They know he killed their daughter, and they kept tabs on him. Her name was Sharon Zellers. So, guess where Robert Cox's parents live? You're not going to believe this. They live in Springfield, Missouri. And so after he got out of jail and there, he went to, no, that's a lie. That's a lie. After all this, he came to Springfield. And he lived with his parents in Springfield. Robert actually worked as a mechanic where Stacy McCall's father, the car dealership that he worked at, Robert was a mechanic there. That's weird. Also, he had a job in Springfield with a utility company where he would go out. This is after the mechanic job. And this is a job he was working when this happened. He would go out into communities and they would mark water lines, power lines, sewer lines. They would mark them. So, and he worked in the area of 1717 East Delmore Street. So did he knock on the door when he saw? Okay, so all right, let's think about this. He knew Stacy McCall's father and worked with Stacy McCall's father. Had he seen Stacy McCall? Decided that he was going to, kidnap her? But wait, How he would have had to have followed Stacy from the high school graduation home, back out to parties, Janelle's party, the other guy's party, the party in Battlefield. He would have had to follow them back to Janelle's house, and then he would have had to follow both of them to 1717 East Delmore to get the one, if that's who he was stalking. So then why would you take two more people? But if we think about it, if he is a utility worker, he's got the vest and all that, could he have knocked on the door and said, hey, y'all have a gas leak. You need to come out now. Now, don't grab anything. Just come on. That could have happened. I don't know what kind of car he drove in. I don't know if it was a moss green, that's never been, I don't know. So you would have to think he would have followed Stacy McCall all over Springfield. And then went into a home, and he only wanted one of the women, but he ended up taking two more. And but I'm not done. I'm not done. It gets weirder. So he starts talking. He leaves Springfield, Missouri, but the Zeller family knows, and they call once they hear about this case, right? They hear about this case. They know he had been in Springfield, Missouri, because they keep tabs on him. They tracked his ass. When they heard about this case, they called the Springfield police and said, do you know you have a killer that was walking the damn streets of Springfield when these women went missing? And they had no effing clue. By this time, he had gone to Texas. That is where he attempted to rob a woman and a 12-year-old, and then he tried to get into somebody else's house. So he was in jail, but wait a minute, it gets even better. In 1997, Robert Cox told a journalist that he knew the women had been murdered and claimed their bodies would never be found. He is a convicted kidnapper, by the way, and robber, and also, I told you, the suspect over there in Florida. Yeah. So, again, he was living there. He was interviewed at the time that the women went missing. He told the police that he had been staying with his girlfriend, and they were at church. Do they have 24-hour churches? I don't know. But the girlfriend said, yes, we were at church. We sure were. We were at church. Absolutely, we were at church. Then she recanted that when they got in front of the grand jury. She said he wasn't. We weren't at church. He wasn't even at home. Okay. So that's pretty good. I mean, he knew the father. He worked with Stacy McCall's father. He was a utility worker who marked lines, and he worked in that neighborhood, 1717 East Delmar Street. Would he have been out? I mean, so we have to think of the odds. Again, the odds of him following Stacy back and forth. Or was he already in the house when the girls got there? But I don't know, because they had taken their makeup off. They had gotten in the bed. So was he going to surprise Cheryl because she was alone, and then all of a sudden two cars pull up? So he decides to take them all. Again, doesn't make a lot of sense, but he is a murderer, and he's yeah. So here's what's so weird about him. He wrote the News Leader. That's the paper in Springfield, Missouri. So he is trying to insert himself into this. And in 1997, he wrote them about how Sergeant Kevin Rolfe had asked him during an interview to reveal where the bodies were. Quote, I told him that I wanted closure too. I'm tired of the harassment I have received because of my association to this case. Uh-huh. Poor you. I told them that I wanted closure too. I'm tired of the harassment I received because of my association to the case. Okay. I told Sergeant Roth if I could tell him where the bodies were, then he could come after me with an indictment and seek the death penalty. So he wasn't going to talk about it. He wasn't going to tell him. He went on to write, because this guy can't get out of his own way, he went on to write to the paper, let's say, hold on. He could tell them where the bodies were, but he wouldn't. And so the reporter just gave up and went to the police. But he wasn't done. No, he wasn't done. Well, no. He wrote another letter to the paper in 2014 saying, I have done locales all over Springfield. That means he had marked lines. Again, sewer line, water line, power line, any kind of line that was there, and somebody had to come and do work. He was with the people that would mark the lines for them. He is saying, I did this all over Springfield, okay? Hold on, I'm trying to get a cold, y'all. It's a wonder I'm here at all. You're lucky to have me at all. Anyway, he did locales, that's what they called them, all over Springfield, he wrote. I've done work in the area of the house where the abduction occurred. Sharon Zeller's mother, again, spoke to the media about the possible involvement and said, I knew it was him. I just knew it. I said to myself, Cox did this. So now we have a Sergeant Robert had stated to a journalist that he would reveal where the bodies were when his mother died. His mother was in her 80s. A couple of years ago, like 80 some. I tried to see if she was dead. I couldn't find it. If she's dead, you would think that would be big. If the woman died, they would say, So he said he would tell them where they were when his mother died. So he doesn't want to admit guilt because he might get the death penalty, but when his mom dies, he's going to tell them where the bodies are. So far, we don't have no bodies, okay? Sergeant Mike Owens has spoken to Roberts about Roberts' apparent confessions. All of our eggs, this is a quote, all of our eggs are not in Cox's basket. We're still looking at lots of different people. If tomorrow we had a lead and solved the case and it wasn't Cox, I wouldn't be surprised. That's a lot of word salad. So the cop that's working it currently said, yeah, he had a couple of different ways, I mean, he was involved with the father, and then he did work around that area, and he said he knows where the bodies were, and he says that he's not going to tell anybody until his mom dies. But this sergeant said, we're not putting all of our eggs in his basket. Janice McCall said, with all of this, I would like him, if he knows, to tell what he knows. He's going to be in prison another 20-some years. His appeals are gone by the wayside. He said they were dead and buried around Springfield. How does he know that? I don't know if he'll ever give that up, give up the right information. I want to know where my daughter is. That's what I want to ask him. And she still doesn't know. Her husband died Stacy's dad died early October of this year. So if you're religious, you know that he knows now everything that happened. In 1997, the police said they could not afford to keep all these police on this case. They can't even really keep one on, but there is one cop that works this case when he's not busy working other cases. Some of the detectives have said that the chief of police at the time was very hard to work with, would shoot down every single person that they tried to talk to, or any kind of a clue or tip they got, and they all thought that was odd. And here we are. Now we're going to enter Kathy Bard, the freelance reporter. I am going to attempt to play some of this interview. If I get a strike, I'm going to try to break it up. But this is Kathy. Let me undo her little piece of paper here. So in 2007, she was a freelance journalist in Springfield, Missouri. She remembers well the disappearances. She kind of became the story in an odd way. She claimed that she got a tip that the girls were buried under a parking garage, a parking structure from the Cox County Hospital. And she went to the police with this tip. She then got a guy that does ground penetrating radar, and anomalies were found. And let me show you those anomalies. There we are. On the left over here, you have the anomalies. And then you have another one on the right. If you look on the right side of that, you see that void. Okay. And so she goes to the police and says, look, you've got to dig up this parking structure. And the cops look at this and they like, well, they talked to the guy that did it. And he said, well, I mean, it's definitely an anomaly. You know, something's down there. Something is not right. You know, the only problem is the parking garage was built a little bit after the girls went missing. But when they graded all of this out, when they treated all of this, when they got all of the stumps and anything that could come up and get in that concrete, they would have, because they graded it so much, the bodies would have turned up. Okay, that's what every single structural. They said, no. These could be stumps. These could be, trees, tree trunks. These could be anything. That these anomalies are not in themselves any kind of proof that there's anything down there other than, the stuff. They would have to have been buried really far down. So again, and even the guy that the guy for Cox, medical, the police said if we thought they were there, if our experts and the guy who did this said those were bodies, we would have had a problem. We'd have dug it up that day. But that's not what any of them said. They said, no. This is normal. This is absolutely normal. This is a tree under there or whatever. It's not a body. They do look like, it is. Well, Kathy didn't stop. But she kept saying, it was a tip. I got an anonymous tip. Well, do you want to know who the anonymous tip came from? I'll tell you. A psychic. Yeah, a psychic said that Stacy McCall was trying to show her where she was buried. Yep, and that Stacy was buried under concrete. So Kathy says, "Oh well, all right, Shannon, y'all gotta." I love you, Sally. Thanks for coming. Yeah. So again, everybody involved in it. If we thought that was those women, that we would pull it up right now. And then when she told the police that the tip came from a psychic, they were like, "What?" I mean, they had a psychic that called them and said, "Listen, I can feel Cinnamon, the dog. If y'all just look, Cinnamon is sending me information. I'm getting a lot of information from Cinnamon. And I believe that these ladies are buried near water because Cinnamon is telling me this telepathically." Which would have been weird. How would Cinnamon know they were in water if Cinnamon was in the house? That's a whole other thing. I'm not even going to get into that. But Cinnamon was sending this woman. And then this psychic said, "Oh, yeah, Stacy McCall is leading me there." Again, but there is, let me show you. Hold on. There is a petition. This is the structure as it stands. I believe this is the structure. Again, really hard to nail down. There's a lot of these. This is the structure. To the back. If it's not the structure, it's very close to the structure. I'll put it that way. But you can see everything's kind of been graded very flat, right? So these girls would have popped up. The police and all the experts said there's no way they would have those bodies would have popped up. Here is the petition to dig up Cox Medical South parking structure. I didn't get all of it. I didn't take all of it because it's a couple like here. It's December 2010. It hasn't gone anywhere. But I do let me take this down because I want if I get a fucking strength for this, which I might very well. We'll see. You know what? I love y'all, and that's why I'm doing this. Oh shit, no, I made that really too much big. Oh, that's really big now. Hold on. Okay, so I'm gonna take that down. And we're going to try to share the screen. And I don't even know if I have it in the right spot. We'll figure it out. Okay, so this is, and I think maybe some of y'all, if you don't know this channel, it's a pretty good one. It's Crime Watch Daily. This is Kim Goldman, as y'all probably, remember her. Her brother was Ron Goldman. Oh, I'm going to get straight to this. This is Kathy. All right, this is the ground. This is the radar. I mean, you can watch this whole thing. I'm getting ready to show you the most interesting part of it, quite frankly. And this is if you do watch this, it's Crime Watch Daily, and they're going to tell you exactly what I said, that these anomalies were not at all odd. It happens. And let's pray to the copyright strike gods that
over here and one over here. And I said, "Oh." And that's what I told him. I'm working.
This isn't even the point. I want you to get. All right, we're gonna get to the weird part.
Collateral damage. And so that leaves Susie or Cheryl.
What happened? I believe they were killed before morning.
Who do you think was the target?
It wasn't Stacy.
So that leaves Susie
Okay, you got this?
Yeah.
Okay, so she says she believes, and y'all can watch all of this, but I'm trying not to. Fair use. Yeah, thank you. Fair use. Fair use. She is injected herself into this case. She says, you heard her, she believes that they were dead before morning. She believes that either Susie or Cheryl were the target, not Stacy McCall. But it gets weird. Let's listen.
And Stacy was just collateral damage?
Unfortunately.
What do you believe the motives were for the people that took Stacy, Cheryl, and Susie?
I'm not going to talk about that.
Okay. Freelance reporter. Why do you think that happened? I'm not going to talk about it. You done pulled up a ground penetrating radar guy. You've gone to the police, tell them you got a valid tip, which turned out to be a psychic. You've started a petition. You've made a general asshole of yourself, and you look crazy right now. And when asked, what do you think the motives are? I'm not going to talk about that. Well, bitch, she going to keep asking you. Okay, listen.
But wait a minute. Kathy says she knows.
Right.
She's not going to tell.
No.
National television, you've got the world at your fingertips. Why won't you share it here? Why are you doing this interview
Why?
with us?
Why are you doing it?
Because their story needs an ending.
Okay.
That's why.
Frustration boils over.
Let's stop. Their story needs an ending. But I'm not going to tell you why they're dead. But their story needs an ending. So what she's basically done is she's got the family of these girls, this woman, women, whatever you want to call them. And she's gotten, you know that they know that she was there with the radar. You know that she's a freelance reporter. I'm sure she wrote about it. You know that the police were there. You know the family had to have known that this woman was doing this, and they got a little bit of hope. But now she gets in front of Kim Goldman and says, I didn't think about it. I didn't think about it. What the fuck you on this show for? You ain't want to talk about it. Oh, gets dumber. Hold on.
And then our producer jumps in.
Oh, the producer, mad as hell.
Why we're doing this interview.
We've already said that. I mean,
Make it, you know what? I've been doing this a long time. It's not real clear because you're talking in code.
Sorry, you don't think that I'm giving you the answers that you need or you want?
You're not giving us any answers. I told you I'm here. She wants the story to come, and she's sitting there with her bad wig, her lipstick that is upsetting me, and sit in front of these people who have pulled all this shit, all the equipment, flown all this out there to talk to this loon. And she's like, I just think it's check out my call. I just wanted to know. All right, hold on. I'm having a little nose problem here. Hold on. I'm telling y'all, I'm on the brink of death. Thank you. I'm here. Hold on. Sorry. It's really going to start now. I hate a damn cold. See what I do for y'all people? I come in here, drag myself down, curl my hair, put on the makeup flawlessly. It's probably not flawless, but I just have a really bad camera. Pick the beautiful pink that I have on that goes with, oh, y'all can't see me. Never mind. All right, let's listen to this. I'm sorry. Hold on. Forgot y'all. Well, y'all can't see me. No, you can't see me.
But I live here. And yeah, I'm afraid for my safety.
I'm sorry, what?
Things have happened.
We've been boxed in by cars before, and somebody came up to me and asked if I was Kathy Baird, and I said yes. And then he said, well, people I work for make people like you disappear too.
So,
okay, let's unpack that. Let's unpack that. Let's unpack that for a second. So Kathy has been working on this story, boxed in. She said we have been boxed in. I don't know who the fuck we. Maybe it's Cinnamon the dog ghost. I don't know. I work for people who make people like you go away. I'm just search my notes. Yeah. But we're not done. I mean, let's continue to watch this because it's it just gets better and better.
Death threats.
I've been advised to leave this case alone.
Kathy will not.
She has been advised to leave this case alone. So I'm going to get in front of all these cameras. I am going to bring y'all down here to Springfield, Missouri. We're going to talk about this. But I'm not going to say a lot. I'm going to throw you a lot of word salad when you ask me specific questions like, why are they dead? Where are their bodies? I'm not going to talk about that. Oh, I didn't know you were. I mean, I didn't think you was going to ask you about that. Bitch.
Even tell us who's threatening her, but vows she will never leave this case alone until she can prove who's responsible for making the Springfield 3 disappear.
Yeah.
Really, really dark in this story.
Yeah, you,
There is
her,
something very dark in this story.
you are sick.
Something super frightening
Yeah.
when you get down to it.
Okay. What the fuck?
Of who you trust.
Oh,
Just be very careful.
okay.
There's a reason this case hasn't been solved.
Oh, all right.
Springfield police say they have.
Okay, that's basically it. I could have read what she said, right? But I wanted you to watch her say it and listen to her say it. I couldn't have done it any better, okay? In 1997, Cheryl Levitt and Susie Streeter were declared dead by their families. That's 5 years. That's the point. That's the point where you could do it. And I'm sure it was to settle, the house, the cars, whatever. I didn't even know what goes into that. Honestly, in a case like this, obviously, nobody, what happens to their stuff? I don't know. I wouldn't even know what happens to the house. I guess you don't foreclose on the house because I don't know where their stuff is. I don't know how that works. But Susie and Cheryl were declared dead 5 years after this. Stacy McCall's mother refuses to do that until she sees a body. And I get that. I'm going to show you. I've got to show you this one thing. I told you about those. I showed you the yellow pieces of paper, right? The yellow missing posters. And the guy, the man that said, I will never take it out of this window until they come home. That's 33 years right there. This says more to me than Kathy Bard did because she's talking out of her ass. This tells me everything right here. Look, this is 33 years of. You got to think. Every day of the last 33 years, Stacy McCall's parents have not seen her. She didn't go to college. She didn't get a job. She didn't get married. They don't have grandchildren. She's just gone, and they don't know where she is. Every day for 33 years. I mean, I don't even know. I don't even know. What would you even do? I mean, I can't imagine not knowing. Um. Okay, love. I'm wrapping this up right now. 33 years. The Streeter family has gone without. Cheryl would be 80 years old now, actually. Every day of the last 33 years, we didn't see Cheryl Levitt pay for her home, maybe meet another person. Stacy didn't go and follow her mother's footsteps. Stacy doesn't have any clients. Stacy doesn't have a husband. Janelle Kirby, that friend from the beginning, to this day blames herself because she didn't say, guys, no, come on, y'all. We'll make pallets in the floor. This girl, who was 18 at the time, every day for 33 years, has felt guilty because her life went on. She got married. She got children. Her life went on. And she blames herself because they're gone. Every day, everything has gone on around them. The morning that they went missing, right? Businesses opened. People went to the store. People went to work. People went shopping. People had picnics and dinners and Christmases and Easters and New Year's, and everybody went on around. Everybody's life went on around them. We can walk away. Tonight, we'll click off this. That was interesting, Shannon. That was really interesting. But there's people that are laying awake right now going, God, why didn't I just do this? Or completely oblivious to it. In that town, I mean, like, all the places that have been dug up, all these things, all these suspects who actually had very good, the Larry Hall had the van. He was a murderer. 50 women, they think, and women and girls. He had that color van. That color van. People saw Susie Streeter driving that van. That, people in the street maybe a couple weeks later said, "Oh, we did hear tires screeching and women screaming. Oh, you didn't think to call the police at least the day after and say, oh, it's funny out here." No, I call foul and all that. You got shit going on up the street. I'm pretty sure this is probably on the news that night or that day. And you're still down the street. And you're looking up there and you see all the cop cars, right? And they're probably there. And the FBI's been there and all that. And you don't mention, hey, you remember when we heard that scream and the tires screeching? You just don't mention that until what? A month later, 2 months later, a year later? Come the fuck on. Come on. So what we got here basically is what we started out with. Nothing. Nothing. We have nothing. There's nothing. Nothing. Money's and cigarettes. I mean, like, I'm a smoker too. If you're going to kidnap me, I'm taking my fucking cigarettes. All right? If you shoot me if you don't want it, like, you go kill me either way, I'm going to die with that Marlboro right in my hand. Yeah, that's going to happen. Excuse me. So they left without their cigarettes. If you're a smoker, that's big. That's big. Again, hustled out of the house. Dryer's ready. Hustled out of the house. In single file. Did you go at the back door? Did you go at the front door? Did you go at the kitchen door? Was there something waiting? Was there... The police still smelled varnish or whatever Cheryl was using that night to redo the furniture, they could still smell it when they went in. The kids, when they went in to the house at 8 o'clock, 8:30, something like that, the Coke can that was on Susie's side of the bed was still cold. It was still condensation on it. Stacy McCall's mother knows by what was left that her daughter left out of there in underwear and a t-shirt. You have all these suspects that make sense. Every one of these suspects makes sense. And each one of them has got a different reason why they make sense. The van, the murderer, I know where they are, but I'm not telling until my mom dies. The kids that sold the damn, the guy that murdered a couple of people, got drunk with them and murdered a couple of people, and they dug up his shit, and he didn't kill them. Then you have Garrison there that said, "Oh, well, I heard somebody at a party was telling me," they were drunk though, but they did it. And whatever he told them was so important that it's still a gag order 33 years later. Did they find something? Do they have any? I mean, again, I don't even know. You can run this through the police believe that only one person did this. That's what they believe. They believe that only one person did this. Because if you've got two people, one of them's going to talk to somebody. Like, say, at a party, if you're drunk. Anymore. If you have three people, yeah, definitely somebody's going to talk. But if you have six people in a house, three perps, three victims, you're going to knock something over. Something's going to be askew, okay? The rest of the house was not like Stacy's room. They said it was absolutely, just spick and span. So you're going to have 5 to 6 people in a home trying to get 3 women out, and you're only going to break the globe on the, what was it Cheryl they were after? Because she would have been alone. But what do you do when 2 more kids pull up? Or do you want Stacy McCall, but you have followed her to this house, and now you have to deal with a mother and a daughter, but all you want is Stacy. Okay, but you can't just take her because then they'll know. So, but there's no blood. There's no hair, chunks of hair. There's no ripped anything, right? Nothing's knocked over. That's why I say the possibilities of this are endless. They're absolutely endless. They could have, honestly, walked out of that, somebody even said, maybe they just wanted to go. Maybe they just wanted to disappear. 18-year-olds don't want to disappear. Not when they're getting ready to go to college. They don't generally just want to go change their life. Oh, yes, I'm going to take my diploma. Hold on, I just worked 12 years, 13 I'm going to take my diploma, and I'm going to run away, and I'm never coming back. I'm going to start my new life with my new diploma. Yeah, that don't work. That ain't working for me. That don't work for me. Sorry. That's it, guys. That's all I have. Again, you can run this in every single scenario. Say it was Stacy that they wanted. Shit. Susie. Say it was Susie. Say it was Susie. They wanted Susie. Okay, well, you had to have followed Susie, from graduation to home to Janelle's, down the street, back here, back to Battle Creek, back here, back to 1717 East. Wait until everybody got back in the bed and then come out. But now, wait a minute. Well, fuck. Stacy's here and so's her mom. I just take them all. It doesn't make sense. Nothing makes sense. But one of these things happened. We know either one person came in, two people came in, three people came in, like 9 came in. I don't know. We know that happened. We know. Could it have been Robert Cox knocking on the door, saying, "Got a gas? They got to go." In fact, I probably could have looked and seen if it was a gas stove in there. Oh, honey. We'll do that later. I'll do that later. I'll give you if there's a gas stove in that house. If there's I'll let you know. I didn't even check, and I looked through that house. I know that house. Yeah, the Cox guy looks so good for so many reasons. And says, I won't tell you where the bodies are until my mom dies. I don't know where the fuck his mom is. All right, I hope she's dead or alive. I don't know. He puts himself there, but then he doesn't put himself there because he doesn't, you know. And then you got the Larry Cox that has killed between 39 and 50 women and children and girls that had a Moss van, a Moss green van. That's excellent. So you've got all these suspects. Bart, the brother, the son and brother. You go into a nail salon and try to kidnap a 15-year-old kid by saying you're the grandfather and try to pull her out because you're drunk. What? I don't know. This is why it's called Saturday Night Mystery Club, because we don't know. What are the other victims of Larry? And I don't know. That's a good question. I don't. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, so I don't know if they're blonde. I think they're brunette, and I know this because they think Larry got so jealous of his brother when his brother got married. He hated the brother's wife because he felt that now his brother was spending time or spending his life with someone besides him. You got to remember, the brother is fine. All right. The brother is not, you know, his IQ is not 85. He was not in the hospital, you know. This Larry Cox almost didn't make it because of the twin. You know, his twin was just sucking up all the nutrients and whatnot. And I'm almost positive they said that the women looked like that wife, and I'm pretty damn sure she had really dark hair. I have to go back and look at that. If you look at what is it called? Random Nights. Random Nights. Let me see if that is. And if well, fuck, I just look at my history, right? Hold on. Oh, come on. Is it Random Nights? Let me type it in. It is. It's called Random. Let me see it. I'll drop it, and they talk about it here. And I just didn't write it down. I will give you there we go. All right, let me get there. Let me get this. Okay, hold on. Y'all can, I mean, look, you can, there are endless documentaries or, you know, little things on YouTube about this case. And this is the Random Nights. And towards the end of this, I think it's like a 40 minutes. I think it's 40 minutes. And near the end of it is when they go through all the people where they dug and all that. They talk about the wife. I remember that. They talk about the wife. Oh, Ted, I appreciate it. I appreciate you. We're getting more and more people that are staying for these. And look, thank y'all. You know, I'm going to try to condense them a little bit, maybe get them an hour or under. But y'all know me. Y'all know me. I'll say that, and then 9 hours later, I'm still here. Yeah, but I do appreciate. I know it's a long time. I know to sit here and listen to that. I'm really going to try to streamline it, get it under an hour, hour or under, and just. But every time I go through that, and I'll have notes. Then I'll think of something. I'll see something else and go, "Oh, that's important," and I'll write it down. And then I'll go back and I go back over and go, okay, now what can I lose out of this? And I'm like, nothing. I can't lose anything. So what I was gonna do the possible serial killer in New England. I'm probably still gonna do that. I don't know though. I don't know if I'm gonna do that or not next week. I'll figure that out. I always let y'all know what I'm gonna cover so y'all can go do. Now we're gonna start this House of Windsor, the train wreck that is the House of Windsor. Y'all know how I feel about. I love Elizabeth, don't get me wrong. Queen Elizabeth, you know I love you, girl. You know it's been you and me, right? But from that little bastard, Edward VIII, Duke of Windsor, and the whore he married, the whole damn House of Windsor. We're going to talk about that. I'm going to get us up to that little fucker, the Duke of Windsor. I'm going to take us from Queen Victoria's son. I ain't going through all 9 of her kids, so don't even think that. We're going to go from the son that took over when she passed. Then we're going to go to his son, and then we're going to go, and that's where we run into the Duke of Windsor. They had a little brother named Prince John who had epilepsy. And at around 4, they knew he started having seizures around 4. They completely took him out of the public eye by 11. There's no photographs of him. There's no portraits of him. There was no mention of him anymore. And I'll tell y'all about that and how the same batch of parents raised a little asshole named Edward VIII, who was only king for 11 months. His daddy, before his daddy died, his daddy, King George V, said that boy is going to do himself in within 12 months of being king. And guess what? At 11 months is when he abdicated the throne for a wrinkled up, pruned up, ugly whore named Wallace Simpson. Don't get me started. And then we're going to take it all the way down to Andrew. Not Prince Andrew. Yeah. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. So look for that. I'm not going to do that on a weekend. I'll do that during the week. So we're going to, oh Lord. State of disorder. There's so much going on. It's so much going on. And I'm sorry, but Elizabeth made a lot of mistakes, especially with her kids. Girl, you know it's true. So don't come in and honk my ass. You know it's true. So anyway, well, that would be just kind of fun, even though I get very animated about that little son of a bitch. So thank y'all for coming. Thank you for the super chats. I appreciate that so much. I appreciate y'all sticking around. If you're on the replay crew, hit the like button. I'd appreciate that. And thank y'all, replay crew. I all my bushwhackers. I love y'all so much. And I will be here next Saturday with something. I don't know. I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. But I will see. Oh, The Crown. Oh, my God. Yes. Genevieve, if you watch The Crown lied about Oh, they lied about the Duke of Windsor and his wife. They lied. I don't know why they lied, but they lied. I'm going to call it out. Oh, they lied. Why did you lie? Anyway, so I will see y'all around the YouTube streets. I hope I don't have to go live because Ernie Share will talk about me, but if he is, fuck him. Miss Crank, my favorite clown, my only favorite clown because I hate clowns. So anyway, yeah, y'all go. I think other people are live. I've taken up enough of your time. I thank y'all, and I will see you this week talking about those asshole Windsors. Have a nice night. Thank you so much.